Hello students, welcome to the class. So in the previous class, we had discussed about the questions on chemistry in everyday life, and so we had started with some of the questions of polymers. And if I'm not wrong, 62nd question was the last question what we had discussed, that is a copolymer is. And we know what is a copolymer, right? Copolymerization or copolymers are those in which more than when there are two or more different types of monomers involved. Different monomers, when they are involved, we call them as copolymers. And if you look at the examples, nylon 6 is prepared from a monomer caprolactam. Nylon 6,6 is from, it is from two different monomers, that is adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. PMMA, polymethyl methacrylate. Yes, it is prepared from methyl methacrylate. Polyethylene is prepared from ethylene, that is ethene, polyethylene. So which is a copolymer? It is nylon 6,6. Yes. Moving to the next question. The process involving heating of rubber with sulfur is called. Yes, what is that process called? See, this particular reaction, it is called what? It is called vulcanization. What is vulcanization? Heating of rubber with sulfur. Why do we heat a rubber with sulfur? In order to improve its properties. Natural rubber is elastic, but it is not that elastic. Elasticity is not that high. Therefore, what is being done is this natural rubber is being taken and it is heated with sulfur or sulfur containing compounds. So when it is heated, what happens? There occurs sulfur linkages between the molecules, which produces extra elasticity and tensile strength. So the process of heating of rubber with sulfur or sulfur containing compounds, in order to improve the properties, or you can say for better modifications, that process is called what? It is called vulcanization. It is called vulcanization. Which of the following, which one is a polymeric compound? Which one is a polymeric compound? Sulfur dioxide, SO2. It is not polymeric. Carbon dioxide, CO2. It is also not polymeric. CH4, methane. Yes, the first compound of alkanes, not a polymer. PVC, polyvinyl chloride, CH2, CHCl. It continues up to N. Polyvinyl, poly stands for N. So this is a polymeric compound. So polymeric compound is nothing but a polymer, or you can say which one of the following is a polymer or a polymeric compound. Next question. Which of the following is used in paints? As I said, we should be knowing the uses of the compounds. Yes, which of the following is used in paints? Terline. Terline is what? It is Dacron. It is used in clothing materials. Nylon. Nylon is being used in ropes and all. Glyptal. What is glyptal? This glyptal, we have seen one of the reaction, one of the question we have seen how glyptal is prepared. Glyptal, it dissolves in suitable solvents, and on evaporation, its solution leaves a tough film. A very tough layer is being left. Therefore, it is used in the manufacture of paints and lacquers. It is used in the manufacture of paints and lacquers. Glyptal is being used. Then chloroprene, we know what is chloroprene. It is synthetic rubber. Elasticity where it is required, there it is being used. So in paints and lacquers, what is being used? Glyptal is used. Next, which of the following is used in tire cords? Option A is terline, bakelite, rubber, nylon 6. Which is being used? It is nylon 6, which is used in tire cords. Nylon 6 is being used, which is prepared from caprolactam. Okay. Next question. Which of the following is a chain growth polymer? Chain growth polymer. Chain growth polymer is prepared from chain growth polymerization. We have two types. One is chain growth polymerization and another one is step growth polymerization. Chain growth means in a long chain it goes on growing. Therefore, polymer is formed by growing in form of long chain. Step growth means stepwise it gets formed. Yes. So chain growth polymerization is nothing but addition polymerization. addition polymerization. And step growth polymerization is nothing but condensation polymerization. Condensation polymerization. And we know the difference. Addition is the monomer units just go on adding, whereas condensation means the monomer units, they add up with the elimination of small molecules of water. Yes, with the elimination of small molecules. It may be water, it may be ammonia, it may be any alcoholic group, anything. Okay. So which of the following is a chain growth? Where there is addition polymerization, that is chain growth polymerization. Is it starch? No. There glucose units are involved with glycosidic bonds will be formed. Therefore, it is not starch. Nucleic acid. Nucleic acids means DNA and RNA. There also occurs elimination of water molecules. Polystyrene. Polystyrene is what? I'll just show you the structure. Polystyrene. Styrene compound is benzene ring, CH double bond CH2. This is styrene. When N molecules of styrene undergo polymerization, it will form CH2 single bond CH, and then here there is a benzene ring. This single bond continues, it will give N molecules. This is polystyrene. This is polystyrene. So how we are getting it? It is just addition taking place, right? There is no elimination of any molecule. Therefore, it is example for chain growth polymerization. Give the monomers of nylon 6,6. Which are the monomers? We know that nylon 6,6 is prepared from CH2 4 times. This is called adipic acid. When you take N molecules of adipic acid plus when you take N molecules of NH2, CH2 6 times and then NH2. Hexamethylene diamine. And when you subject it for polymerization, what do we get? We get water molecule eliminates C double bond O, then CH2 4 times, and then C double bond O NH, water molecule elimination, CH2 6 times, and then NH, there is another, sorry, not NH2, there is another water molecule elimination. This continues up to N molecules. This is called nylon 6,6. The reason why it is called nylon 6,6 is it's a two monomers have got 6 carbons. You can see here 1, 4, 5, 6 carbons, and here also there are 6 carbons. Therefore, its name is nylon 6,6. So which are the compounds used? It is hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. It is an example. You can see here, it is an example for condensation polymerization because there is a elimination of water molecule with the formation of CONH bond. Formation of CONH bond. Yes. So here it is NH bond. So formation of CONH bond is there. And what is this CONH bond called? It is called peptide linkage. It is called peptide linkage. Okay. Next question. Peptide bond is a key feature in. It is a key feature in where peptide bond is found. Polysaccharides, sugars, carbohydrates have glycosidic bond. Yes, O linkage is there. Then proteins have peptide bond. Peptide bond is present in proteins. CONH bond is peptide bond. Nucleotides, phosphatic linkage is present. Vitamins, yes, it differs. Yes, so where peptide bond is a key feature in proteins. Of the following, which is a step growth polymer? Step growth means what? Step growth means where there is condensation polymerization with the intermolecular elimination. So first option is bakelite. Bakelite is an example for condensation polymerization where you will get a cross-link. Cross-link, it is a cross-link polymer of phenol and formaldehyde. Hence, it is also called phenol formaldehyde polymer. Yes, so these two, there will be, please do remember when you get condensation polymerization is when the two monomers are having functional groups. When there is a functional group, there will be intermolecular elimination. Polyethylene, polythene bags, yes, there is no functional group. So it is a chain growth. PVC, no functional group, chain growth. Teflon, no functional group, chain growth. So condensation comes when there are functional groups involved. So bakelite is an example for step growth polymerization. Which of the following fibers are made up of polyamides? Polyamide, which is polyamide. Dacron is a polyester. Orlon is polyester. Rayon is polyester. Nylon is a polyamide. It contains CONH linkage, so it is a polyamide. Which one of the following is not an example of chain growth polymerization? Not an example. Neoprene. Neoprene, CH2 double bond CHCl. Chloroprene, N molecules, you'll get it neoprene. Buna S, it is also chain growth polymerization. Chain, just what we take styrene and butadiene, CH2 double bond CH double bond CH2, 1,3 butadiene plus we take styrene. So there occurs double bond CH2. So they will combine. There is no elimination. So it is also example for chain growth. PMMA, polymethyl methacrylate. It is also example for chain growth. Glyptal. Glyptal is a step growth polymer of ethylene glycol and phthalic acid. So this is not an example of chain growth polymerization. Next, caprolactam polymerizes to give. Caprolactam. I'll just show you the structure of caprolactam. Like this, and this. So how many carbon atoms? Just look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 carbon atoms. Yes, this is caprolactam. When you polymerize caprolactam, when caprolactam is subjected for polymerization under heat, what happens? This bond gets broken. So what do we get? We get NH, CH2, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times, and then you have C double bond O. This continues up to N molecules. This is nothing but nylon 6. So caprolactam polymerizes to give what? It polymerizes to give nylon 6. So you should be knowing what are the monomers. Monomers, right? So terylene, monomer terphthalic acid and ethylene glycol. Teflon, tetrafluoroethene. Glyptal is ethylene glycol and phthalic acid. Nylon 6 is caprolactam. Which of the following is not correctly matched? Is not correctly matched. So which of the following is not correctly matched? Neoprene. Yes, this is the correct option. This is the structure of neoprene. Nylon 6 NH. Then we have CH2 6 times NHCO. Then CH2 4 times C double bond O, single bond O. No, this is wrong. So what is the correct structure for nylon 6 NH, CH2 6 times, then NH, then we have CO, then we have CH2 4 times, and then we have CO. It continues up to N. We don't have esteric linkage. This is esteric linkage. We have carbonyl linkage. So this is the wrong option, not correctly matched. Terylene, OCH2, CH2O, C double bond. Yes, ester linkage is there. PMMA, CH2, CH2. Yes, this is also correctly matched. Yes, so option B is wrongly matched. Correct? Okay. Next question. Acrolein is hard, horny, and have a high melting point, and a high melting material. Which of the following represents its structure? So what is acrolein? Acrolein has got a name. It is polyacrylonitrile. Polyacrylonitrile, abbreviated as PAN, or it is also called acrolein. Acrylan. Yes, this is hard, horny, and a high melting material. This is prepared from CH2 double bond CHCN. Yes, it is prepared when N molecules of this compound acrylonitrile acrylonitrile are taken and subjected for polymerization, we get CH2, CHCN, which continues up to N molecules. This is polyacrylonitrile. So polyacrylonitrile, which is the correct structure? CH2, it is option A. It is option A. Natural rubber is a polymer of trans-isoprene, cis-isoprene, co-cis and trans-isoprene, and none of these. Natural rubber is a polymer. You consider both of them, but actually what is natural rubber? It is cis poly, it is a polymer of the AVAX. No, so we have to say which is the monomer. It is cis-isoprene. It is cis-isoprene. Yes, that is natural rubber. 1,3 butadiene. It will isomerize to give cis-isoprene, to give cis-polyisoprene, which is called natural rubber. But if they ask you about trans-isoprene, what is the trans-isoprene? From trans-isoprene, what we prepare? We prepare trans-polyisoprene. What is trans-polyisoprene? It is gutta percha. It is not natural rubber. It is much harder than natural rubber. Yes. So it is cis-isoprene. Next question. The catalyst used for the polymerization of olefins. I've just explained you. Polymerization of olefins gives us polyolefins, and example for polyolefins are those which are obtained from double bonded compounds. It might be polythene, it might be polyvinyl chloride, it might be polystyrene. Yes, all of them. Yes, these are all polyolefins. So which is the catalyst used? Most probably either we use oxygen, or we use peroxides, organic peroxides, or we use Ziegler-Natta catalysts. Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So these are the catalysts used in the polymerization of olefins. Yes. Which of the following is a natural fiber producing polymer? Natural fiber producing polymer is cellulose. The polysaccharide which is present in largest amounts in nature, biopolymer, is our cellulose. It is present in all the plant cells. So cellulose is a natural fiber producing polymer. Starch and rubber are also natural polymers, but they do not produce fibers. Starch and natural rubber, these are also natural polymers, but they do not produce fibers. Therefore, which is the correct option? It is only cellulose. In vulcanization of rubber, sulfur reacts to form a new compound. Sulfur crosslinks are introduced. Sulfur forms a very thin protective layer over rubber. All the statements are correct. During vulcanization, what happens? Sulfur, when you heat a natural rubber with sulfur or sulfur containing compound, sulfur will form crosslinks between different polymeric layers, due to which flexibility is included. So if this is a polymeric layer and this is another polymeric layer, between the polymeric layers, sulfur linkages are formed. So due to which the elasticity of the layers increase. Yes. So what is the reason? Vulcanization, what happens? Sulfur crosslinks are introduced. Next, number average molecular mass, denoted like Mn prime, of synthetic polymers are related as. They are related as, for synthetic polymers, the number average molecular mass is always less than mass or weight average molecular mass. Always less than weight average molecular mass. So correct option is option A. Number average molecular mass is always less than weight average molecular mass. Next question. Novolac. Novolac is. So what is Novolac? Novolac, as I had told, when phenol and formaldehyde undergo condensation, they undergo condensation polymerization. There is a formation of, I'll just show you here. There is a formation of a layer like this. Yes. So there is OH here. There will be CH2 linkage. Then again we have benzene ring. This continues. Okay. It will form a layer first. And then here also there will be OH. This continues. A layer of the such structure is formed, CH2. It continues. A layer of such structure is formed, and with the elimination of water. So when you take two molecules, there is N-1 elimination of water. This is called Novolac. Yes, this is in the form of linear chain. It is a linear polymer. Linear polymer. When you take large number of phenol and formaldehyde molecules and go on polymerizing, it will form a cross-linked structure. Therefore, and that cross-linked structure is called Bakelite. Yes, so Bakelite is what? It is a cross-linked polymer. It is a cross-linked polymer. So before Bakelite formation, what is formed? Layers of this compound is formed, and those layers are called Novolac. So what is the correct option? Novolac is a linear condensation product of phenol and formaldehyde. Cross-linked product? No. Phenol and formaldehyde is what? It is Bakelite. This is Bakelite. Okay. Next, natural rubber and gutta percha respectively are. What is natural rubber? Cis polyisoprene. And what is gutta percha? It is trans polyisoprene. So option A is the correct option. We have seen it many times. So natural rubber is cis form, wherein CH2 linkage are on the same sides of the double bond. Whereas gutta percha is a trans rubber, wherein we have seen CH2 linkages are on the opposite sides. Which of the following alkenes is most reactive towards cationic polymerization? Cationic polymerization involves what? Cationic polymerization. Cationic polymerization, it involves carbocation intermediate. Carbocation intermediate. So we know that under carbocations, which is most stable carbocation? Tertiary carbocation is most stable. Yes. Then comes a secondary carbocation. Then comes primary carbocation. Yes. And then comes methyl carbocation. Yes. So alkene which gives most stable carbocation will be most reactive towards cationic polymerization. So where you get most stable carbocation, that will be most reactive towards cationic polymerization. So in these options, if you see, it would be CH3CH plus C6H5, then CH3CH plus CH3, then CH3CH plus Cl, and then CH3CH plus CO2 CH3. So this would be the correct order. This would be the correct order. So which is the correct option? Which is most reactive? This is most reactive. So it is option C. This is the correct order. Please do remember. Which of the following is a polymer? Yes. Carbonob wax, carbo wax, beeswax, paraffin wax. It is carbo wax, which is a polymer. Which is a polymer. Okay. Rest all are just the compounds. Next, a polymer of prop-2-ene nitrile is prop-2-ene nitrile. So prop-2-ene nitrile is CN. This is prop-2-ene nitrile, which is also called vinyl cyanide. Which is also called vinyl cyanide. Yes, prop-2-ene nitrile. When it undergoes polymerization, what happens? You get CH2, CH, CN. This continues up to N. So this is nothing but polyacrylonitrile, PAN, which is also called Orlon. Which is also called Orlon. So a polymer of prop-2-ene nitrile is called Orlon. Next question. If N1, N2, N3 up to Ni are number of molecules with molecular masses M1, M2, M3 and Mi respectively, then the weight average molecular mass is expressed as See, weight average molecular mass is expressed as the summation of number of molecules and the molecular masses the whole square divided by summation of number of molecules into mass of the total molecules. This is the correct one, and correct option is option A. So you should be knowing the formulas of all these. It is option A, where Ni is the number of macromolecules and Mi is the molecular masses of those molecules. Yes, okay. To make a PVC a flexible plastic, the additive used is called, yes, to make a polyvinyl chloride a flexible plastic, what we use as the additive is plasticizer. It is not plasticizer, it is plasticizer. It is plasticizer. Plasticizer. That is the additive. Next question. The biodegradable polymer among the following is, all the polymers, they were causing huge amount of pollution into the environment. So what the scientists thought was, rather than you causing either, and green chemistry involves in what? It involves in the less usage of the harmful compounds, or sometimes those compounds we cannot use them in a less quantity. If they are required if they are required only, what we need to do is we need to find an alternative through which they cause less and harm to the environment, right? Or we should use different techniques through which less toxic chemicals are being let into the environment. These polymers, when they were seen, they were non-biodegradable. Whatever you use, it might be your clothings which are made up of polymers, it might be your tooth bristles, or it might be a toothbrush, anything what you take, any plastic, anything you take, ropes, anything, tires and all, they are not biodegradable. So they were causing huge amount of pollution. So what the scientists thought was, let us find different ways why the biopolymers, it might be your polysaccharides, it might be your proteins, it might be your nucleic acids, how they are degraded, how they decompose. Looking into that, they came up with biodegradable polymers. Yes, and the examples for biodegradable polymers are, one is your PHBV, polyhydroxybutyrate cohydroxyvalerate, and another one is nylon 2, nylon 6. Nylon 2, nylon 6. So this is these are the two examples of biodegradable polymers. This PHB we use usually, where you find it is in your medicinal capsules. The outer coating is made up of plastic, and that plastic is nothing but PHBV. It will decompose. So nylon 2, nylon 6 is an example for biodegradable polymer. Next question. Which of the following is a condensation homopolymer? Condensation, elimination of some molecules, and a homopolymer. That means it should be prepared of only one type of a monomer. Nylon 6,6 has two monomers. It is condensation. It is a condensation copolymer. Nylon 610, condensation copolymer. Dacron, terylene, condensation copolymer. Terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol is used. But nylon 6 is a homopolymer. Yes. Which of the following acts as a chain transfer agent in vinyl polymerization? Yes. During vinyl polymerization, we use CCl4, carbon tetrachloride. It acts as a chain transfer agent in vinyl polymerization. It acts as a chain transfer agent in vinyl polymerization. Next, which of the following alkenes is least reactive towards anionic polymerization? Anionic polymerization involves formation of carbanion. And we know that primary carbanion is more stable, then comes secondary carbanion, comes tertiary carbanion. Yes. So alkenes which yield least stable, here they have asked least reactivity. Alkenes which yield least stable carbanion will be least reactive. Yes. So alkenes with electron withdrawing groups, alkenes with electron withdrawing groups are most reactive towards anionic polymerization due to stabilization. So where there is no electron withdrawing group, that will be least reactive. So which is the correct option? Here there are no electron withdrawing groups. Okay. But here there are electron withdrawing groups. Here also there is electron withdrawing group. This is also electron. So this is least stable. This is least stable. Which of the following is obtained by condensation polymerization? Here we use ethene or ethylene. Here we use tetrafluoroethene. Phenol formaldehyde. We use phenol and formaldehyde. Nitrile rubber. Here we use nitrile rubber, that is PAN, acrylonitrile. So which is the correct option? It is phenol formaldehyde polymer. If you want, I'll once again show you the entire structure. When N molecules of phenol condense with N molecules of a formaldehyde, what we get? We get first what? We get first Novolac, CH2. Then here we have CH2. This continues. Yes, first we get Novolac. This again is treated with formaldehyde. And what we get? We get this continues. CH2, benzene ring. Then here we have OH. Again CH2, benzene ring OH. CH2, benzene ring OH. CH2 continues, and here there will be CH2 linkage, benzene ring OH again, and here there will be CH2. It continues, again CH2, CH2, here benzene ring OH, CH2, CH2, OH. Why I'm writing this entire structure is, in the previous one of the question we had seen, this is Novolac. Yes, Novolac. And this structure, what you are seeing, it is Bakelite. So Novolac is a linear polymer, whereas Bakelite is a cross-linked polymer. Cross-linked polymer. So it is cross-linked. So which is the correct option? Phenol formaldehyde resin, which is also called Bakelite. Yes. Next, among the following polymers, the strongest molecular forces are present in. See, elastomers, weak forces, fibers, weak forces, thermoplastics, they become soft on heating, right? Thermosetting polymers, they have got the strongest intermolecular forces. Which of the following is not an example of addition polymer? Polythene, addition. Polystyrene, addition. Neoprene, addition. Terylene is condensation. Because terylene is prepared from what? It is prepared from terphthalic acid and ethylene glycol. Teflon is a polymer of CF2 double bond CF2. When you take N molecules and subject it for polymerization, you get CF2 single bond CF2, which continues up to N molecules. This is Teflon. Polytetrafluoroethene. This is Teflon. So it is a condensation polymer of tetrafluoroethene. It is ethene, not ethane. This is option ethene and this is ethane. So it is ethene. Option C is the correct option. Example of addition polymer is. Example of addition polymer is. Which is the example of addition polymer? Bakelite, we have seen just now, it is condensation. Nylon 6 is condensation. Melmac is condensation, whereas styrene, Buna S, how is Buna S prepared? CH double bond CH2, N molecules, we take styrene, CH2 double bond CH, CH double bond CH2. We take n molecules of n butadiene, 1,3 butadiene. So what happens? It will polymerize to give CH2 single bond CH. We have benzene ring here. Then CH2 single bond CH, double bond CH, single bond CH2. It continues up to n molecules. This is Buna S. Butadiene styrene rubber. This is occurring in presence of sodium, therefore it is called Buna S, or it is also called SBR, styrene butadiene rubber. So it is an example of addition polymer, which is a copolymer. Terline. Many times we have seen this question. Is made by polymerization of terphthalic acid. So what is terphthalic acid? Terphthalic acid with ethylene glycol. With ethylene glycol, CH2, CH2, OH, OH. This is n molecules of ethylene glycol plus when you take terphthalic acid, that means COOH groups are at opposite positions. OH, n molecules. It will undergo polymerization to give O, CH2, CH2O, then C double bond O, ester linkage, benzene ring, then C double bond O, O. This continues up to n molecules. This is what? Terline, which is also called Dacron, which is a protein. Nylon, no. Rayon, no. Terline, no. Natural silk is an example for protein. It is an example for protein. Next, natural rubber is. What is natural rubber? The another name for natural rubber is polycis isoprene, or sometimes we write it as cis polyisoprene. It is natural rubber. So CH2 double bond C, CH3, CH double bond CH2. Yes, cis, sorry, it is isoprene. IUPAC name is 2-methyl buta 1,3 diene, correct? When you subject it for polymerization, what do you get? You get CH2 single bond C, CH3 double bond CH, single bond CH2. This continues up to N. This is poly 2-methyl buta 1,3 diene. This is nothing but natural rubber. So it is a polymer of isoprene. Synthetic rubber, neoprene is. So how do we get this neoprene? CH2C, instead of CH, there is Cl, double bond CH, CH2 continues up to N molecules. So what is it? It is polyhalodiene. So polyhalodiene. It is a polyhalodiene, synthetic rubber, which is also called neoprene. Okay, next question. Which of the following is a Which of the following is not a synthetic polymer? Is not a synthetic polymer. Polyethylene, yes. PVC, yes. Nylon, yes. Cellophane is not a synthetic polymer. It is obtained from the animal skin. What is not true about polymers? Polymers do not carry any charge. No, they do carry the charge because of polyesters, polyamides we have. Polymers have high viscosity. Yes, they have high viscosity, which all is not true. Polymers do not carry any charge. Yes, when you polymerize, there won't be any charge in it. Yes, so they do not carry any charge. They have high viscosity. Yes, polymers scatter light. Yes, polymers have low molecular weights. No, polymers have got very high molecular weight. They have got very high molecular weight. So that is not true about polymers. That is not true about polymers. Next. Which of the following is a biodegradable pollutant? Which is a biodegradable pollutant? That means which will undergo decomposition. Plastic? No. Sewage, yes. Asbestos, no. Mercury, no. So option B is the correct option. So these are the questions on environmental chemistry. Atmosphere of big or metropolitan cities is polluted by, yes, what is the correct option? Big or metropolitan cities, it is polluted by the automobile exhausts, which is a symbol of urbanization. Automobile exhausts, which is a symbol of urbanization. Next question. The point of temperature inversion between troposphere and ionosphere is called. We have discussed that different layers of atmosphere, troposphere and ionosphere. Between troposphere and ionosphere, what comes? What is that point of inversion temperature inversion called? In the region of lower to tropopause temperature, the point of temperature inversion between troposphere and ionosphere is called what? It is called tropopause. So in the region lower to tropopause, temperature decreases with increase in altitude, whereas in the region upper to tropopause, the temperature increases with increase in altitude. Therefore it is called as tropopause. Photochemical smog is formed in, when it is formed, we have discussed there are two types of smogs: classical smog, which is also called London smog, which is found during humid climate, and photochemical smog. Therefore London smog is also called wet smog. Photochemical smog is called dry smog. Why? Because it is formed in dry sunny climate. Photochemical, it is formed in summer during bright sunny daytime. So option A is the correct option, summer during daytime. Yes. Next question. Which of the following is a sink of carbon dioxide? Yes, sink of carbon dioxide. Microorganisms present in the soil are the sink of carbon dioxide. They will combine with this carbon dioxide pollutant. Therefore, they are called sink. So what they do, microorganisms present in the soil, they convert carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. So they convert carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. Therefore, it is a sink. It is called as the sink for carbon monoxide, microorganisms. Next question. Ozone hole refers to hole in the ozone layer, reduction in the thickness of ozone layer in troposphere, reduction in the thickness of ozone layer in stratosphere, increase in the concentration of ozone. Ozone hole refers to reduction in the thickness of ozone layer. But where ozone layer is present? Is it present in troposphere or stratosphere? We know that 0 to 10 kilometers above the sea level is troposphere, 10 to 50 is stratosphere, and ozone layer is present in stratosphere. Around 30 kilometers there is ozone layer, correct? So the ozone hole refers to what? It refers to option C, reduction in the thickness of ozone layer in the stratosphere. Okay, then match list 1 with list 2 and select correct answer using the codes given below. Okay. Enzymes. So what are enzymes? Enzymes are domestic sewage. Yes, they are domestic sewage. Enzymes. Okay. Vitamins. So option A is 3. Okay, correct. A is 3. So that would be only the correct option, because there are no other options with the 3. Next, let us see. Vitamins. Vitamins, they are chemical fertilizers. Proteins. Proteins, erosion of soil by strip mining. Nucleic acids. Nucleic acids, abandoned coal mines. Yes, chemical fertilizers. Match the list 1 with list 2 and select the correct answer using the codes given below. Okay, so first one. So what chemical fertilizers are the source of plant vitamins? Chemical fertilizers. Yes. Then coal mines are the source of mineral acids. Coal mines are the source of mineral acids. Domestic sewage is a rich source of microorganisms. So domestic sewage is a rich source of microorganisms. Therefore, we say them as enzymes. And erosion of soil by strip mining yields sediments. They yield sediments, therefore proteins. So the correct option is option A. It is option A. Next question. Fish die in water bodies polluted by sewage due to. It is due to what? direct option. Decrease in, it is due to decrease in the dissolved oxygen. Microorganisms from sewage consume all dissolved oxygen and fish get deprived of this oxygen and ultimately die. So it is due to decrease in the dissolved oxygen, the fishes die. DO stands for dissolved oxygen. Next question. Addition of phosphate fertilizers in water leads to, addition of phosphate fertilizers in the water, it leads to nutrient enrichment for algae. Yes, resulting in eutrophication, nutrient enrichment for algae. Next, by green chemistry, we mean what? What do we mean by green chemistry? So by green chemistry, what does green chemistry refers to? It refers to use of non-toxic reagents and solvents to produce environmental friendly products. Yes, so it is use of non-toxic reagents and solvents to produce environmental friendly products. Option D is the correct option. Negative soil pollution is, what does negative soil pollution means? It means that reduction in soil productivity due to erosion and overuse. Yes, so reduction in soil productivity due to erosion and overuse. So remember this, it is called negative soil pollution. Option A is the correct option. Next, poisonous gas present in exhaust fumes of a car. Always remember, when there is over pollution, population, automobile traffic is there, we feel headache. It is because automobile exhausts give out carbon monoxide, which combines with our hemoglobin to form carboxyhemoglobin. Yeah. So poisonous gas present in the exhaust fumes of a car, which is the poisonous gas? It is carbon monoxide that is present in the exhaust fumes of the car. The greenhouse effect is caused by which gas? It is caused by carbon dioxide. It is caused by carbon dioxide. Next question. About 20 kilometers above the earth, there is a ozone layer. Which of the following statement about ozone and ozone layer is true? Ozone layer is beneficial to us because ozone cuts out the ultraviolet radiations of the sun. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Second option. The conversion of ozone to oxygen is an endothermic process. No, it is highly exothermic. So that is false. Ozone has a triatomic linear molecule. No. Ozone, if you look at the structure, it is not linear. It is bent. It is bent structure. So it is not linear. It is bent structure. So it is not having a linear structure. It is having a bent structure. Then ozone layer is harmful to us because it cuts out the useful. No, that is also wrong. So option A is the correct option. Yes. So it cuts out the ultraviolet radiations of the sun. Next, surface water contains what? It contains what? It contains soil, salt and organic matter. Surface water contains salt and organic matter. Okay. Next, ozone is formed in the upper atmosphere from oxygen by the action of ozone in the upper atmosphere, UV and ultraviolet light. It forms O plus O, free radicals. This oxygen free radical combines with O2 and forms ozone. So this is how it is formed. So it is formed by the action of ultraviolet radiations. This is how ozone is formed. In incomplete combustion of petrol or diesel oil in automobiles, engines can be best detected by testing the fuel gas for the presence of what? For the presence of carbon monoxide. Option B is the correct option. Which one of the following regions of atmosphere contains ozone? Where it contains ozone? Stratosphere. Ozone layer is present in stratosphere. So it contains ozone is present in stratosphere. Option D is the correct option. Increased asthmatic attacks in certain seasons are related to eating of seasonal vegetables, wet and dry environment, inhalation of seasonal pollens, low and high temperatures. Inhalation of seasonal pollen grains increases the asthmatic attack. So option C is the correct option. Next, cyclone collector is used for minimizing. Cyclone collector, it is used for controlling particulate pollution, which ultimately minimizes air pollution, because particulates are what? Mist, fumes, dust, all these are nothing but particulates. They cause which type of pollution? They cause air pollution. So what does cyclone collector do? it is used for controlling the particulate pollution. So that ultimately controls the air pollution. Which of the following statements is false? Which of the following statements is false? Lower concentration of dissolved oxygen, more polluted is the water sample. Yes. The tolerable limit of lead in drinking water is 50 ppm, parts per million. Yes. Water is considered pure if it has BOD less than 5 ppm. Yes. Biological oxygen demand. In COD determination, the pollutants resistant to microbial oxidation are not oxidized by oxidizing agents like K2Cr2O7. No, that is wrong. In COD determination, both organic and inorganic pollutants are oxidized by potassium dichromate. So option D is the wrong option. Eutrophication causes reduction in. Eutrophication results in the reduction of dissolved oxygen. Because eutrophication, what happens? On the upper layer, there is formation of algae. Algae and all, what they will do? They will take the oxygen present in the water. So there will be decrease in the level of oxygen, dissolved oxygen present in the water. Ozone help hole is maximum over. It is maximum over Antarctica due to climatic conditions. The region which is greatly affected by air pollution is troposphere. Yes, troposphere is the lowermost region of the earth and hence greatly affected by air pollution. Which of the following statements is false? Photochemical smog causes irritation in eyes. London smog is a mixture of smoke and fog. Photochemical smog results in formation of pan. London smog is oxidizing in nature. Photochemical smog causes irritation in eyes. Yes. London smog in fact is a mixture of smoke and fog. Photochemical smog results in formation of polyacrylonitriles. Yes. London smog is oxidizing. No. London smog is reducing in nature. Photochemical smog is oxidizing in nature. So option D is the wrong statement. Next, which of the following is not regarded as a pollutant? Carbon dioxide is not regarded as a pollutant. Option B, because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Only if its concentration increases above the limit, then it becomes a pollutant which causes global warming. So option B is not the is correct the option. The brown hazy fumes of photochemical smog are due to. It is due to what? It is due to nitrogen dioxide, NO2. Brown hazy fumes of photochemical smog. Which of the following statements is false? Which of the following statements is false? Okay, so let us see. The main reason for river water pollution is industrial and domestic sewage discharge. Yes. Surface water contains lot of organic matter, mineral nutrients, and radioactive materials. Yes. Oil spill in sea water causes heavy damage to fishery. Yes, that is also correct. Oil slick in sea water increases dissolved oxygen. No, it decreases. Oil slick is nothing but oil layer. So in sea water, it decreases the dissolved oxygen value. Next question. BOD is connected to. It is what? It is oxygen consumed by all microorganisms in a decomposition of organic matter under specified conditions. So BOD is connected with what? It is connected with microorganisms and organic matter. So microbes and organic matter is the correct option. Last question. Which of the following is not a part of green chemistry? Photochemistry, sonochemistry, nuclear chemistry, and biochemistry. Photochemistry, light. Sonochemistry, the sound producing techniques. Biochemistry, regarding the life processes, biochemicals. Nuclear chemistry, it involves production of hazardous radioactive wastes, which is not a part of green chemistry. So which is the correct option? In case of 131 question, it is microbes and organic matter, and here it is nuclear chemistry, because nuclear chemistry, fission, nuclear fission is involved, nuclear fusion is involved. During these processes, there is production of hazardous radioactive wastes, and radioactive wastes are highly poisonous. So nuclear chemistry aims at producing non-toxic compounds. So here, this is not a part of green chemistry. So here we finish with the questions on multiple choice questions on chemistry in everyday life, polymers, as well as environmental chemistry. Hope the questions what we discussed are clear to you all. Thank you.